Today, boys and girls, we're going to talk about the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France. It is a wrought iron lattice tower built on the Champ de Mars in Paris. It is named after the engineer Gustave Eiffel, whose company designed and built the tower. The construction of the tower was started on January 28, 1887, and reaches the height of 984 feet. To start off with, boys and girls, we're going to take our piece of paper and fold it in half lengthwise from top to bottom. So we have a crease down the middle. This crease is going to help you keep the Eiffel Tower symmetrical on your paper. So to start off with, we will draw a small line towards the top of our paper. I'm going to make 2 dots so I know how far I want to go down, about 3 to 4 inches, and I'm going to connect those 2 dots with a vertical line. Now you're going to draw 2 lines on each side of that first line. Towards the bottom, you want to flare those lines out a little bit with a diagonal line. Now we're going to connect the bottom of that line and at the top. Underneath that first line, you're going to make a skinny letter V coming down. The V will be upside down. Now we're going to add a little tiny rectangle underneath that first drawing. And now we're going to add 2 more diagonal lines coming out a little bit further to make our Eiffel Tower get a little bit wider and a little bit taller. And again, we're going to add a straight line across the bottom there. Then 2 verticals coming down to make another long, skinny rectangle. Inside that shape, we're going to add 2 more diagonal lines to continue the sides of the Eiffel Tower. We're going to draw a small line across the top underneath the first rectangle. Now we're going to draw the last 2 legs of the Eiffel Tower. Make them a little bit longer and a little bit wider than the last 2. Now we're going to add the ground line the Eiffel Tower will sit on. So use a nice horizontal line going across the bottom underneath your Eiffel Tower. Now we're going to go back up and finish the other 2 legs at the bottom of the Eiffel Tower. So 2 more diagonal lines, 1 on each side. We're going to draw a line that curves from one side to the other. It's a nice arch in between those 2 last Eiffel Tower legs. Going to the top, we're going to add another rectangle on top. And we're going to add another smaller rectangle on top of that. We're going to step in just a little bit. So use 2 verticals up, horizontal across to make another tower top. And then we're going to use that crease to make a nice little antenna or flagpole coming from the top of the Eiffel Tower. To make a flag, we're going to use an S-curve line. 1 and 2. Make sure they kind of copy each other. Close up the end there. You're going to add 2 lines inside of the flag. Red, white, and blue. So you go back and add in the second line to have 3 sections. Now we're going to divide up the Eiffel Tower in sections. So starting above the letter, the V, you're going to add lines across. So horizontal lines breaking up the Eiffel Tower into little tiny squares. You don't want lots of these lines, you just want a few to start adding more detail. And we're going to do that down each leg of the Eiffel Tower, drawing those lines horizontally inside those lines to make the legs go all the way to the bottom. As you go closer to the bottom, they get a little bit further apart and a little bit bigger. Now we're going to go back in each one of those boxes and put a letter X. So you'll X out each one of those square boxes. This is just another detail for the Eiffel Tower to have a little more actual realistic looking texture or architectural feel. You see, I'm putting X's in every single one of those boxes that we just created, all the way down to the bottom of your Eiffel Tower. And this is going to give you that lattice looking structure that the Eiffel Tower is created from, as we saw in our pictures at the beginning of the video. Now going back to that curved line, the arch, we're going to add in some lines to break it up a little bit. We're going to add about 3 to 4 on each side of the arch. And you have your Eiffel Tower finished. Now it's time to think about coloring your Eiffel Tower. Whoop. Sorry, boys and girls, not coloring yet. I did go back and add a little bit of black rectangle at the bottom of the Eiffel Tower to have a foot for the Eiffel Tower to stand on. Now we're going to start coloring. So I'm going to start off with my markers. I'm going to use green, red, and blue. I'm going to start off by coloring the flag. Blue is first. Skip a space. And then red is the last part of the flag. So it's blue, white, red. Now I'm going to take my green marker, go down to my ground line, and add some green. And I'm not going to try to color in the whole bottom part of the paper. I'm just going to do a nice coloring underneath, as I'm just partially coloring to give a little more different look, a different feel to my work. Now using some crayons, I've got a blue, a black, and a gray. I'm going to think about which one I want to use to add in just a few places on the Eiffel Tower that might be solid. So I'm going to color in those little rectangles lightly. You can use a black or a gray. I'm also going to do the top part of the Eiffel Tower. As you can see there. Then I'm going to take my blue crayon and I'm going to do some light coloring behind the Eiffel Tower. Now, since I've got my Eiffel Tower traced in Sharpie, I can color right over it, because the Eiffel Tower you can see through. It's not a solid structure. So I can color right over that and add in my blue sky. Now again, I'm not coloring in my entire paper. I'm just doing a nice sketchy coloring sky in the background. Just a different technique that you might want to try. You don't have to completely fill in the entire piece of paper blue. So some of those areas being left white could be considered as clouds. As you can see there in the picture, it looks pretty awesome. And the last thing there at the bottom, I'm going to sign my name to make sure it's my work. And there you go, boys and girls, the Eiffel Tower. Quick and easy and simple, just using lines and a few colors. Have an awesome day.